Hey everyone, I'm DJ Ware, and this is the CyberGizmo. You know, you can spend an entire weekend installing, configuring, and setting up a new Linux distro only to find out, you know what, this isn't what I wanted. So, what do you do? I mean, do I always have to go through all this trouble and waste time to figure out that this isn't going to work for me? So today I thought I wanted to take a look at Purism's PureOS 11. So today I'm going to show you my quick gut feel system on how I score a new distribution just by looking at the documentation, looking at the website, and seeing what they say to try to filter and prioritize these distributions as to when I will get to them. So the assessment criteria that I use is essentially this. I look at user needs, which is, does this distro solve a real problem that I might have or that maybe you have, right? So that's number one. If it doesn't solve that, then why are we looking at it? The second one is mission. You know, does it have a clear, well-defined purpose for being? I mean, because there are 600 distributions out there, and a lot of them are, why does this exist, right? The third is value proposition. This is more of, hey, what's this going to do for you? Or what's this going to do for me? Right? I mean, what do I get out of this? Is this something that is going to improve things for me or no? The other one is team stability. How likely is this distribution to survive the next, couple of years? So many of them will come and go, and then you invest time in them, you get them up, you start using them, and then poof, they're gone. The other one is documentation. I mean, is there a clear set of instructions on how to do stuff? But not only that, is there a way to troubleshoot? Is there a way to get help? Are there forums? And then more importantly, how are those users on those forums acting? Are they receptive to new people coming in and asking the same question over and over again? Or are they more inclined to tell you, please go somewhere else? The trade-offs. All distributions have compromises. They solve one problem, but maybe they leave another. So we want to identify what those trade-offs might be, because those could be a deal breaker, right? There's some other things that you might want to look at when you're evaluating other criteria that maybe is more important to you than the ones I have listed. So what I did was I went down through the each of those lists and I created some bullets that were important to me. Now yours probably look different than mine does, but it gives you some idea of when I was looking at PureOS initially, kind of what I felt about it. So as far as a general, I have three needs. I have servers that perform as servers, systems that perform as desktops, and systems that perform as a NAS. Why are the general server and data storage marked as fail? Well, when you have Lux with a password, a server is not going to be able to just restart in the middle of the night, because if something fails, usually those servers will just come right back up again, right? Well, if you have Lux, those aren't coming back up. Not until you enter a password. Mission. So they do have a very clear mission statement there for PureOS. It's privacy and security focused. That's a pass. I have two others that I look at. One is high performance or gaming. Mine is high performance, but gaming might be yours. All around daily driver. This is kind of a specialty OS. It's got some things that are going to get in your way, and I'll explain what those are in a minute. The value proposition, if I was buying hardware from Purism, I would have the choice between Pure Boot and Core Boot. Now, Purism supported Core Boot for their BIOS, up until November of 2023. After that, they replaced it with theirs, PureBoot, which is based on Core Boot, but it has some changes for detection whether or not somebody has tampered with your machine. There's also the Librem key, which is integrated, which allows for verification and unlocking LUKs. Physical hardware kill switches, their hardware does that, and it does it by disconnecting power. Intel Management Engine, so this has been kind of a problem, and I'm going to mark this as a fail. And it's really not a fault of PureOS as much as it is Intel's. The Intel Management Engine used to be prior to, I think it was around Kaby Lake, somewhere around in there, where you could actually remove it from your system. You can't do that anymore. Intel has instituted something that they call the HAP API call. And the HAP allows you to send a API message to the management engine that says disable yourself. Unfortunately, Intel controls all that, and they're not very forthcoming with the information as to how to verify that it really is off. Or more importantly, maybe it did go off, but then something re-enabled it, and you don't know that. The other is kernel level security, AppArmor. The reason is AppArmor does provide application level security, but I wouldn't call it kernel level security. And that's an SE Linux function. And trying to implement SE Linux on top of a system that has been built for AppArmor, yeah, now you're talking some real work. Documentation. So the user-friendly setup guides, they're out of date, and they're not easily found. If you go to the documentation page that's on their website, you'll end up with the developer and enhanced documentation for advanced users. That's not going to help somebody install it. So I hope maybe they'll get around to doing that. But right now, it's just not there. Hardware requirements, yeah, they're there. You can find them. Troubleshooting for normal users, caution because you're going to end up in the forums. What about trade-offs? Now, there's really more to this than what's here, but I just listed a few. Stability versus latest software. I would say that's a caution, mainly because how to explain this? So they released, Purism released PureOS May the 20th, 2026. Debian has a number of levels of support that they offer. So from the date of Debian 12's release until today, which is June the 15th, the time I'm making this video, that was done by the Debian support team and the security team proper. But after today, it will be done by the LTS support team, and they're not the same as the security team. That will continue, the LTS support will continue until June 30th, 2028. And then I have never done this, but there is an extended long-term support that goes out through, I think it's 2031, might be a little further than that even. Yeah, that gets you out there, but you pay for it, you subscribe to it, and it's not with Debian at all. It's with a third party. So based on all this, user need, I would say, a caution as long as you're doing it for a desktop. I think you're okay there. But a server or a file system for, a NAS, no. Mission, I think they're pretty clear as to what their mission is. I think the value proposition is there was some trade-offs there between some of them that were caution and some that failed. But I think overall, there's enough value there that it's probably worthwhile doing. Team stability, yeah, they've been around for 10 years. They're not going anywhere, not that I know of. They've had their issues in the past, as many of us know. I'm sure that I'll get comments about Purism down below as well. they had some struggles when they announced and released the Librem 5, and they made some mistakes along the way, which broke the trust with their users. So, yeah, it wasn't pleasant. It wasn't a good experience, and I would expect some of you were probably burned by that. It's not likely that you'll forget those injuries either, but nevertheless, I'm looking at them from software perspective, not hardware. The trade-offs, I think, as long as you to approach that with caution, maybe. But my decision overall for purism is to stop and wait. The thing that I see that is kind of weird is that, and this could be just maybe the size of the team on purism that's doing it. Maybe they need some more help from the open source community, and maybe this is something that we can work on. Purism is the only one company that I know of under Linux that is actually trying to build a hardware and software privacy and security environment. Debian 12 LTS ends on June the 30th. It began today, the LTS. And I think they need to get their release date closer to the release dates of Debian so they get the benefit of the longer support windows. Again, I think that needs support from the community to help do that. Documentation, same thing. That's just people that are willing to go in and help write documents for the current system. No developer likes to do that first, or at least in the middle of trying to develop, because it's a moving target, right? I don't know how this is going to work until I get it written. That's what I've always heard in the past anyway. Intel CPU firmware and AMD GPU firmware is missing. Why? Because Purism subscribes to the FSF model of no non-free software. That creates an issue. The Intel CPU firmware can't be updated because it's in the non-free firmware. Some of the AMD GPU drivers are open source, but some of their supporting software is in the non-free software, and it won't start. So, yeah, that's an issue. First, the Intel issue, because of Spectrum Meltdown, has specific patches that are needed that you can't get in order to correct the Spectrum Meltdown CVEs. Second, the AMD ones are, on one of my later machines here, is preventing it from launching because it can't load the AMD GPU driver. It fails to launch. You can see it, but it can't launch it because it's missing these pieces that are in the non-free or non-free firmware. Also, video and audio codecs like H.265, VP9, some of those are proprietary, and yep, they're non-free. FastFetch actually failed to compile. Why? Missing non-free software. So there was I remember there was a saying years ago about, hey, if the Free Software Foundation, if they certify you, that's a kiss of death, because your system won't actually work. So anyway, that's where I'm leaving things, is that I'm going to wait. I would like to see PureOS catch up and maybe be like some of the other supporting systems where they're only a few months behind when Debian releases. That would get them out from underneath this trap where they're always trailing way behind the Debian releases. I'm DJ Ware. This is the CyberGizmo, and I would love to hear your opinion on Purism, PureOS, and the tool. I hope to talk to you next time, and bye for now.